Have you ever found yourself drawn to someone who, let's be honest, you knew deep down was probably not the best choice? You know the type, emotionally distant, a little unpredictable, the ones who always keep you guessing. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden psychological blueprint that explains this incredibly powerful and often really confusing attraction. And it all starts with a question you've probably asked yourself a million times.
Right? This is such a common feeling. You finally meet someone who's kind, who's reliable, who's actually into you, and instead of feeling relief, it just feels flat, or even worse, boring. So why is it that the very thing we say we want, a stable, loving partner, can feel so completely unexciting when it's right in front of us?
If you've ever said this, or even just thought it, trust me, you are in very good company. So many people have this exact experience. They go on a great date with a perfectly nice person and walk away thinking, they're just too nice, or there just wasn't that spark. The feeling is totally real, but the reason it's happening, it's probably not what you think.
And here is the absolute game changer. This has nothing to do with you being broken, or addicted to drama, or anything like that. It's about conditioning, plain and simple. Your nervous system, probably from a very young age, was basically trained to associate the intense up and down feeling of chaos with real deep connection. So when calm, steady love shows up, your brain just thinks, wait, something's missing here.
So, how in the world does this conditioning even happen? Well, it all starts with a kind of hidden blueprint in your mind, one that got drawn up based on your earliest experiences with love. Let's dig into how it was built. The big psychological idea at the heart of all this is something called anxious attachment. Now, this pattern often develops when, as a kid, the love you got was inconsistent. Sometimes it was there and you felt amazing, and other times it just wasn't. And that inconsistency teaches your young brain a really powerful lesson. Love is unpredictable, and you better stay on your toes if you want to keep it.
So let's just break that down. Step 1. You learn that love can vanish without any warning. Step 2. To stop that from happening, you learn you have to be constantly alert, hypervigilant, always scanning for trouble. And here's the kicker, Step 3. That childhood survival tactic, it doesn't just go away. It becomes the unconscious blueprint you use for every romantic relationship you have as an adult.
And boom, this is where it all clicks into place. For someone with this blueprint, when you meet an emotionally unavailable partner, your brain doesn't throw up a red flag. It doesn't sound the alarm. Instead, it feels a sense of recognition. It feels familiar, and our brains are hardwired to chase what's familiar, even if that familiar thing is actually painful.
This brings us to one of the biggest misunderstandings in modern dating. We are constantly mixing up the feeling of pure chaos with genuine, soul-stirring passion. Let's look at how that blueprint makes this mix-up happen.
This chart just lays it out so perfectly. What you're feeling as intense passion, in reality, it's your nervous system being hypervigilant, on high alert. That sense of being deeply connected? That's often just your mind overthinking every little detail, obsessing over them. And those exciting highs and lows? That's just a nicer way of saying emotional instability. Your system isn't passionately in love. It's dysregulated.
So here's the bottom line. Your body is making a huge mistake. It's confusing the adrenaline and stress of a survival response, that fight or flight feeling of trying to lock down an uncertain connection, with the actual warm and fuzzy feelings of real romantic chemistry.
Okay, so let's get into exactly why these emotionally unavailable partners are basically the perfect key to unlock this chaotic system inside of us. Welcome to the unavailability trap.
I mean, the defining traits of this kind of partner are practically tailor-made to set off an anxious attachment style. They're emotionally distant, they hold back, they never really let you all the way in, they definitely don't give you consistent reassurance, and most importantly, they keep you guessing. And that guessing game, that's the fuel for this whole fire.
Okay, here's how the addictive loop works. It all starts right here. They pull away, they go quiet, stop texting back as fast. They just get distant. And that attention you were working so hard to get suddenly just vanishes.
And what happens next? Instantly, your brain screams danger. That old fear of being abandoned kicks right in, and stress hormones like cortisol flood your body. Your mind just starts racing. What did I do? Is it something I said? How do I fix this right now?
And then, just as you're about to lose your mind with anxiety, they come back. They send that one-word text. They like your photo. They give you just a little breadcrumb of affection. They re-engage.
The second their attention is back on you, all that anxiety washes away, and your brain is flooded with this incredible feeling of relief.
That relief comes with a huge hit of dopamine, the pleasure chemical. It feels intense, it feels intoxicating, and your brain completely mislabels that feeling of relief as passion or an insane spark. You're not actually falling for the person, you're getting hooked on the loop.
So if that's the trap, how on earth do you get out? Well, the path forward is absolutely possible, but you have to know this going in. At first, healing is going to feel, well, pretty awkward.
When you finally step into a secure, healthy relationship, your nervous system is no longer riding that crazy roller coaster. And that means there's way less intensity, there are fewer dramatic spikes. It means there's more quiet, more silence, more space. And to a system that was trained on chaos, this can feel incredibly weird and unfamiliar. It can feel like something is wrong, even when everything is finally right. And that's the real work, right there. Your nervous system literally has to relearn what love feels like. It needs to build new pathways in your brain that teach it that calm and safety do not equal abandonment. It needs to learn that consistency isn't boring, it's beautiful.
But this transformation, when it happens, is just incredible. That thing that initially felt so boring slowly starts to feel grounding. The feeling you once called flat begins to feel secure, and that sense of emptiness, like something was missing, it transforms into a deep, real sense of peace. You're not losing the spark, you're finally finding your footing.
Okay, let's bring this all home with a really powerful way to reframe your own heart and your entire dating history. It's all about unlearning survival.
If you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. When you find yourself aching for that unavailable ex, you're probably not missing the actual person. You're missing the intense chemical rush that came from them activating that old, familiar childhood wound. It's a craving for a feeling, not for an individual.
So if you ever feel that fear creeping in when you meet someone stable and kind, just remember this. It's not a sign that you're broken or incapable of love, not at all. It's a sign of how incredibly strong and resilient you've had to be. You fear healthy love because it asks you to finally put down the survival tools that you needed to get through your past. It asks you to believe that you no longer have to fight to be loved. And that right there is the most profound healing of all.